Hi, and welcome back to Suricotta Crafts. I'm Rebecca. Today I'm going to teach you the difference between a hank, a skein, a ball, a cake, a donut, all of these different terms that are used to describe the way your yarn comes. Here we go. First up is this. This is a hank. This is how most hand-dyed or hand-spun yarns come. You can't knit from this. If you try, you will end up with a yarny mess. One option is to ask the company that you're buying from very, very kindly if they wouldn't mind putting it into a cake for you. I'll show you the other option. The easiest way to do this is by using two pieces of equipment, a yarn swift, which you see behind me, and a yarn baller. I keep mine attached to this board just so I have some leverage for holding on to it. So first what we need to do is to undo your hank. So we're going to find where one end is tucked in the other and just pull it out and let it unroll. Now you have a big loop. They're tied up periodically through the yarn with holders. So what we're going to do is make a loop about this big, get it over the yarn swift like this, and then raise your yarn swift until your yarn is stretched tight. It spins freely. Now we're going to undo the ties that are holding it together. This is the other. So one end will pull more freely than the other. We want the front yarn, not the back yarn. So I'm just going to tuck this right around here. And I'm going to pull out just a little bit of it. Two things you'll need to notice about your yarn baller is the yarn guide and these two slits that hold your yarn on the top of your baller. So the first thing we're going to do, you can wrap it around or poke it through this coil so it runs freely through the middle. And then tuck it in through both slits and let a little bit dangle down. Now, and I'm just going to slowly start turning the crank with my arm on the underside. And as we turn this, your yarn swift will freely turn and unwind your yarn. Don't go too fast or it'll put too much tension on the yarn going into the cake. If you have any tension, if it stops pulling, take a moment and loosen it up and pull out a little bit more and you should be fine. So we're just going to continue balling. Okay, now I like to take the end of the yarn, just wrap it around and loop it under itself just so I don't lose it. And then take this end out of here, pull it to the side, and just slide your cake off the top. Now we have a cake. This is your second way a type of yarn can come. Now you have two options. You can either pull from the inside or from the outside. If you're doubling your yarn, you can pull from the inside and the outside at the same time. So take it and slowly pull, and there shouldn't be any tangles. It should come out smoothly and freely. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of yarn barf where there's a tangle in your yarn, but not very often when you cake up your yarn. The third way your yarn can come is the most common, and that's a skein. So you have two options with this one as well. You can either pull from the outside or from the inside. I strongly suggest pulling from the inside because your skein will lay flat as the insides get pulled out, as opposed to pulling from the outside, your yarn's going to flop around and has more chance of getting tangled. Then we have a bullet skein, which is usually smaller but not always and has rounded edges. Same thing really, you can pull from the inside or the outside. To pull from the outside, you have to remove the ball band. Just take it and slide it off, and then your yarn will unravel from the outside. To put your ball band back on, you just squeeze your yarn, and as you pull your ball band on, you turn it, and it'll slide right back on. Next up, a donut. I honestly am most likely to cake this up before I use it, but if you want to use it in donut form, it's not that hard. I use this. It is a paper towel holder, or you can buy a yarn butler, which is this, and the base spins. I find this works just fine. So the first thing you need to do is pull out the ball band, and as you see, each end has little hooks on it to keep it attached inside your yarn. Then I find my end, make sure the hole is big enough, and slip it over the center of the yarn. And then I just pull. Last but not least is something that every yarn artist will eventually need. It's a ball. When you are using your skein and you're pulling from the center, eventually you're going to have so much yarn pulled from the inside that your ball will collapse. The easiest thing to do then is to make it into a small cake with your yarn baller, or to just make a ball like this. Now I'll show you, using my donut, how I do this. I just take it and wrap it around 4 fingers, like this. When you have enough, slide it off your fingers, pinch it shut, and start wrapping around the inside. Then I fold this part in half, like this, and start wrapping around here. And then this is the center of your ball. I just keep wrapping it around, and then move my fingers so I can wrap yarn in another direction. A piece of advice for using a ball that you've made is to have something to put it in. It doesn't have to be a yarn bowl. It could be anything. It could be a box on the floor. It could be a laundry basket. I stole a really clever idea from Pinterest. I use a yarn bowl like this. I drop my ball of yarn inside. I poke my yarn through one of the holes in the middle, and then as you pull, your yarn can bounce around in that basket and it won't come out. So those are the main ways that your yarn will come and how to use them. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please write them in the comments below or send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. You can find me on Facebook as Suricata Crafts or on Instagram as rebecca.watkins.shaw, and I'd be glad to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and I'd love to see your comments below. Have a great day and happy crafting!